Today we're here at the Liberty Coach facility in Stuart, Florida with Frank Koenigsetter, and I read the comments recently. Someone called you the godfather of the motor coach industry. I don't know if there's anybody more knowledgeable that's been in the industry longer than you and your family. And you've got a beautiful coach to show us today, but what all is going on here at your facility in Stuart, Florida?
Well, we just came back out of the Prevost Plus show in Ocala. We sold 7 coaches out of that, which was outstanding. I'm sure we're going to get another one, possibly 2, which would make 9 out of that show, which again is just phenomenal. We're here standing on our inventory line here, so we've got equipment here from 2011 to 2020. In fact, the 2020 that's right here is the first one that you and I did in the summer of 2019 in Sturgis. We have that coach here, which we believe we have sold as well. So you know, this is where it all happens right here. And we sell on average of about 90 units per year. 2 years ago, we did 116 units. We run pretty hot and heavy here all year long.
Yeah, when you drive by this facility, it's like an art show with all of these Dean Laux paint jobs on display, but the interior of these coaches are artwork as well. And I think there's a really special coach inside that we can take a look at today.
Right, it's a brand new 2026, coach number 929. The people that bought it sold a Class A that they had, so they've been going around to the different shows. They saw us at the Tampa Super Show. They came by at River Landings. I just came back from there. We were there this past weekend for the Liberty Coach event that we had there. So they were hanging around with the people there as well. So they're all wound up, ready to take delivery here in the next week or so.
Yeah, really exciting. Do you think we could take a look at the showroom and at the latest and greatest?
I think so.
So you mentioned these folks came out of a Class A and this is their first Prevost. Now, do you know what caused them to make the decision to go with Liberty Coach?
Well, I think watching our videos, getting their hands on the industry and wrapped around it to be able to see what else is out there besides the Class A world. And I think they've known about the Prevost world and wanted to get into it. And instead of going through the steps of used coach to used coach, they have the ability to go ahead and do something brand new. So they wanted to build their own unit. They've got some friends that are in it as well, so they're excited about doing that. For the first of the year, up until probably April of this year, we'll have 2 people that are coming out of Class A units directly into the Prevost world. We're excited about that. And then this year, as far as production-wise goes, for our entire year, we have all of the units sold now. We took care of that while we were at the Prevost Plus. We have 1 unit that I'm keeping for Liberty Coach, so that's kind of the special ops project that we're gonna do. So we're playing around with that. Other than that, everything else has been sold. So we've got some pretty good people coming in, some new people that are coming into the fold as well, so it's gonna be really exciting this year.
And what percentage of your owners are repeat owners versus new Liberty Coach owners? I know a lot of them are repeat Liberty owners.
I know that we have the highest percentage of repeat customers in our industry, without a doubt. As far as what we have now coming in that are first-time Prevost owners, even from used to new, that's kind of hard, but I would have to think, based upon the last 4 or 5 years, probably half are coming in new to the Prevost world. You
mentioned the Prevost Plus rally. There was quite a few Liberty coaches at the campground there, just an incredible presence and a lot of camaraderie amongst the Liberty coach owners there, everything from brand new Liberties to a couple decades old. So you had Big Red out there as well. Do you know about how many Liberty owners were at that event?
I think we had 60, a little over 60. So we have numbers that had came out of it. So the first day between the VIP and general admission, there was just right around 728 people. They fed no less than 520 people a night. Friday numbers for the admission and VIP was in the mid 600s, and then it just was short of 700 again on Saturday, which is really big because it's really tough to be able to keep a lot of the people through that last day on an event like that. So we're really excited about next year for sure.
I've really got to tip my hat to Rick Smith, president of Prevost Plus, who is a Liberty Coach owner as well, and really a testament for Liberty Coach when someone that well experienced chooses Liberty Coach as well.
We're really proud to have him as a customer and also a really great friend. I mean, we just came back from River Landings. We had a Liberty Coach event there. We have a double lot that we bought there almost 2 years ago, and we just started putting drawings together, and we'll have some more stuff together to see how this is going to build out. Without a doubt, it'll be the most unique build out that they've got, for sure.
Yeah, really cool to see what Rick's done for the industry, and I think that Prevost Plus show is going to be huge. If you didn't get a chance to attend it this year, definitely worth putting it on your list for next year.
As well as the website. That's going to start gaining traction in a big way here very shortly, I think, too.
Yeah, and are you going to have your Liberty Coach inventory on the Prevost Plus website as well as libertycoach.com?
Yes, we will.
Now, talking more about this coach, the design, you said it was their first Liberty Coach. They knocked it out of the park with the design, the interior, the exterior. Do you know if there was an inspiration?
I wasn't along for the ride on this one when they spec'd it out, or with Dean, so that was all together on them. So I'm sure, you know, they went through the whole gamut of all the coaches that we've done to try and pick out an exterior. This exterior is going to similar to what 928 was, where it's got somewhat of that timeless look to it. You don't have a red, you don't have a blue or what have you, so it's got kind of a really, really calm, timeless look to it.
Has kind of a similar feel to Coach 858, I believe, the first one we filmed. But this is not a Dean Laux Artist Series. No. This is the standard Dean Laux paint job.
Right, standard Dean Laux, but it's got a couple of other options to it. So you got the painted door handles here. You've got an additional painted vinyl here in this window. You do have the stripe coming down through the top. So Dean's been breaking some of that stuff out here and there and doing those as options as opposed to just doing it into a jammed up package.
Then we've got the floating center caps.
We started doing these on the 9660s, so that stays weighted and floats the whole time going down the road, so we always have the brand right out there in front of you. First bay, it's going to be the standard bay that we've done, where you have the pull-out trays on either side, and these trays once again are manufactured by Liberty Coach, so we have more height in our bay than anybody else does. Our tool drawer here, or parts drawer, however you want to utilize it. We also have the storage drawers on top. These are all on self-close as well. We started this on Coach 908, and we've stuck with this as far as that goes. The look really has turned out well. So the second bay here on the passenger side, we've got the storage drawers up on top. Once again, these are the soft-close units here. Pass-through bay, you need to look at that when you're looking at other coaches out there, because Liberty Coach has two pass-through bays for storage. We also have the 65-inch TV unit that rolls out and swivels. This mechanism is built by Liberty Coach. And again, as I've said, it has positions that you can lock it in as well, so in case it's windy outside and you're tailgating. Nice sound bar on the bottom of it as well that really kicks out the sound, so you really got a lot of good quality sound there as well. Above here, we're going to have the AVR unit, which is going to be your sound processor for that sound bar. That's all done by KEF. So we have that engineered for the speakers outside as well as the speakers inside. This we've seen a couple of times getting more popular is doing the beverage cooler down here with the clear door on it as opposed to the other refrigerator unit. We move the grill unit over here, and then we have storage over here as well, and then storage on top. So, you know, there's other combinations that we've done with this, and you saw it on 927 where we had the dual pull out for the grill to stay mounted all the time. So there's all kinds of different configurations we can do down here. Fourth bay passenger side is going to be storage. On the other side of this, we're going to have the DEF tank. So you've got DEF that's provided by Prevost. The DEF is filled from the other side of the coach. You've got a locking fuel door here, so you can fuel the coach on both sides, and you can fuel it wide open because the nozzles that we have, the inlets are quite large. And again, there's a locking door on the other side which you'd fill the DEF. Your DEF capacity is enough to be able to get you from New York City to Los Angeles, California without refueling it. I typically refill it every time I fuel because you've got the pump right there at the fuel island, so you might as well just dump a couple gallons in every time you do it. Fifth bay passenger side is going to be our water bay or wet bay. Culligan reverse osmosis system here that goes to the refrigerator for the ice maker and the drinking water dispenser, also to the coffee maker. Stainless steel fresh water tank, it's about 170 gallons. The holding tank is aluminum, same size capacity. And you've got a water heater there that's 40 gallons, and it's electrically heated. It's also heated from the main engine and also from the S-bar furnace. The water heater also, since Coach 922, we installed on every coach since a hot water return system. So we have a separate line and a little pump that moves the water around the fresh water system all the time. So whenever you turn on a faucet, you're going to have hot water immediately, so you're not wasting water waiting for that. We also have a tankless water heater. The tankless water heater has been installed standardly for quite a long time, and it is specifically for the shower valve. That only gets used as a backup. So if you do have a situation where your water heater goes down, you can still have hot water to the shower by turning that on. You can dump the holding tank from both sides of the coach, the passenger side here or driver's side. You can also fill the fresh water tank here as well, or on the driver's side. We use the Headhunter water pump system, and then we have the other filters on board as well for cleaning all the water before it goes through the RO system into the rest of the coach. We have tank monitoring that's on this side of the coach as well as the other side, and all of your Crestron panels or iPad displays will have your tank monitoring on there as well. So you've got it all over the place. This is going to be the blind spot detection system. This is the midship radar. There's one here, there's one in the back, there's one on the front, and again on the other side. And that will detect a vehicle or something about a lane to a lane and a half away from the coach, as well as about 20 feet behind the coach. So there's indicators that are on the window post, the A-pillar and the center pillar, that come on to let you know that there's something going on there. So that's been a really great feature. We've done that. We pioneered that into our industry on the 2021 model coach number 865. So we're really happy with that. Plus it's non-weather dependent or upset by the weather, snow, ice, mud, whatever, that system will still go through it. You've pointed this out before, that has to have special paint on it. You can't just utilize the regular paint like Dean does here. He has to set up the paint differently to go on those radar units.
And what other safety features does the Prevost chassis and the Liberty Coach build have?
Liberty Coach, we were the first ones to put on the bird's eye view camera system. And that system was the first one that could be utilized on a vehicle over 26 feet long. We did that on coach 798. So that was a 2016 model year coach. So that coach, and then after, had that on standard on all coaches, which is a good point, because on one of the comments from the last video on 928 was, do we have a dash cam? Well, we actually do, because the front unit can be utilized as that, and if a customer so desires, you can get a DVR hooked to that so that you can have full recording of everything going on around the vehicle at all times, if you'd like. We also then, with that, you have the advanced driver assist package that Prevost has done, where you have the collision alert that is a heads-up display. You have lane departure, the advanced adaptive cruise control as well. I mean, this thing will really climb up on top of the brakes if somebody gets in front of you and stops without you even having to do anything. It's quite amazing. The other part of it is it has the ability to keep the coach straight. So if you're going down the road and you get into that exit ramp and you're a little hot getting into it and the coach wants to start leaning or yawing, there's a yaw sensor on there that will automatically start cutting the fuel back and applying brake as needed to keep the coach stable. That has been on board the coach for quite a long time, so there's a lot that Prevost continues to do and upgrade as they go along. Cameras as well, like I said, we did the bird's eye camera system. We also have the camera that's off the back of the coach, which is the pan tilt unit. We also have another camera that looks straight down onto the hitch ball. So you can see as you're backing up, if you're solo trying to hook up the vehicle or the trailer, you can see that going on. Or as you're just driving down the road, you know, you might see a safety chain that's not hooked right or something like that. Great viewability on the coach.
Yes, sir, a lot of thought put into safety on all the different features in technology, but then also the stainless steel frame is what really creates safety, in my opinion. So.
Exactly, no question.
Yeah.
This bay here, the tag axle bay, this is going to be what we call the Prevost service bay. The chassis, engine starting batteries and chassis batteries are located here. They're an AGM type, and then their rear junction panel for all their electrical is done back here as well. We come in here to the rear compartment here on the passenger side. We've got the stainless steel box that we've talked about, the storage box in here that people can put belts, oils, whatever they would like. It's ventilated in here too, so you're not going to get moldy as far as that goes also. We have the starboard side shore power hookup, so if your cord reel goes bad, you can take a regular cord, 50 amp cord, and be able to plug up your coach here for shore power. This one here is a 30 amp 220 outlet that comes off your generator or shore power, so you can power up your trailer if you so desire only when you're parked You would not utilize that while you're driving down the road. Engine back here, our belt guard that we've put on for many years. Some people like it, some don't. So if you don't, you can just easily take it off. It just covers up the belts that are back there so it looks a little cleaner. We've got two 10,000 watt or 10 kW alternators back here for the 58 volt Volta lithium ion system, so you can charge that system back very rapidly. You also have the dash AC compressor back here as well, and then the alternators for Prevost system for the Volvo part for doing the AGM battery charge on the chassis batteries. The 500 horse Volvo D13 motor, it's 1,850 foot-pounds of torque. Got a lot of comments back off the last video when we were talking about 600 horsepower and all that business that goes on, and I've answered them the best I can. I'll stipulate it and stand on it again. The situation that you have is, yes, you might be able to get an Allison transmission that can take more torque, but at the same time, we have drag race mules in our parking lot, okay? And the Prevost has left it sitting, okay? So the power development and the torque on this coach is much faster and quicker. Now, if this coach has 500 horsepower and something else has 625, is it going to climb the mountain faster? Yeah, but eventually the heat, because of the EPA regulations, is going to start cutting that power back and the thing's going to start slowing down. At the end of the day, you're both going to get to the same location pretty much at the same time. That's really what it comes down to. It has to do with weight carrying capacity. People were hitting me on with the weight across with what people do, and yes, you could easily state that each axle is rated for 20,000 pounds. However, the axle might be, but what about the brakes? Okay, you can say you have a 20,000 pound axle, but what are the brakes rated at? What's the tires rated at? At what air pressure are they set at to do that? Okay, the bridge law has to do with axle spacing. They very well can consider this combination a combination in the back as opposed to being split. So there's a lot of different ways, and it has to be interpreted different ways by different people. It's very difficult, but at the end of the day, with what Prevost is set at and where we are at here, we are set for what that law states.
And I noticed this polished stainless cover right here. Is that done by Liberty Coach as well?
So the cover actually comes from Prevost. It's all just a brushed, and we take that off and we polish that up. So at least, you know, to brighten things up here a little bit. We don't talk about that much, but back inside this fender here is going to be two things. You've got the Prevost fire retardant system. There's a fuse that runs around the whole back of the coach over the engine. When that fuse gets disengaged, that system goes off to cut any fire that could happen or anything that's going on in the back. So that's located in here. The other thing that's located in here is the 83,000 BTU S-bar hot water diesel fired furnace. We didn't have air conditioning issues when we were up at Prevost Plus in Ocala because it was, what, 29 degrees one morning? So we had people that had heat issues. And what were the heat issues? They were because of the fact that nobody runs the S-bar. One of the things, and it's even in my videos that are on the owner's portal, is to make sure that you run that unit probably once a month for an hour. Just go hit the button, let it run. It's clean burning. It can burn in the building if you want to. So you could just let it go for about a half an hour. The people that had problems with that unit were ones that didn't use it, and the fuel got gummed up at the nozzle. So we had to take the thing apart, clean the nozzle, or put another nozzle on, and then after that it works fine. So I mean, it's just a fact of using the parts in the coach. You know, if you don't use them, they tend to not want to, you know, be there for you when you need them. So that takes all of the antifreeze from the main engine and it circulates it through the entire coach. There's one pump and there's multiple thermostats and multiple blowers that come on and off as need be. So that's how that system works, and it only is caring about what the antifreeze temperature is. So once the antifreeze temperature gets up to about 162 degrees, then the unit will shut down and then it'll refire once it drops down to another temperature and bring it back up. It doesn't care what the inside temperature of the coach is.
And you bringing that up reminds me of a point of, you know, how well you and your team at Liberty Coach understand these coaches. And it sounds like as soon as you had some customers with an issue, you didn't skip a beat. You knew exactly where to go, how to address that. And I think it's important for folks out there that are shopping for a Liberty Coach to understand buying here from Liberty Coach versus other dealers or aftermarket third-party dealers out there, no one's going to understand these Liberty coaches the way you and your team do. And I think there's a lot of value in having your team that backs the product, that really understands these coaches. So when someone does have an issue, there's no time wasted. You know, they're going right to the source here.
Right, and one of the other things that's come up on that system is that we had built that system for years that way. I mean, we've done the hot water heating system since Webasto's to now S-Bars. Actually, previously it was S-Bars, so we can go back 40 some odd years, 50 years probably, because we started out with hot air blower units that were diesel fired instead of the hot water units, okay? And everything was pumping along just fine, and then all of a sudden you have units that are misfiring, and you're going to have to reset them sometimes, and they're misfiring. Well, what's happened is, lack of a better term, they've basically taken the oil out of the diesel fuel. So now what happens is, instead of the fuel flowing nice and smoothly all the time, if it sits for a while and the pump starts up on that and goes, it actually can create its own vacuum bubble. Well, when the vacuum bubble hits that burner, it just shuts off. I mean, it flames out, so you're done. So it's just going to turn itself off, then you have to reset it, and sometimes you have to do it twice to get that fuel up there. So what then we did, which actually was this past year, we had a coach here and I was involved in it, trying to figure out what we were all going to do. So we do have an update for those coaches that were having that issue, where we've changed check valves and changed locations and some other stuff as far as that goes. So they will then fire right away. Again, if you use it every month, you know, you're still going to have a situation that it could not be there for you if you haven't used it for 6 months or a year.
And I've got to ask another question about service issues, because it does happen. If you're using motorhomes enough, there's going to be something. And I met a Liberty Coach owner that had an older Liberty Coach, but they had gone through an issue where they needed to call you guys in the middle of the night. It was an operator error, but they were able to get a hold of someone in the middle of the night, walk them through exactly what they needed to do. What type of customer service support do you have for Liberty Coach owners?
Well, we have the service phone number, and that's on our website, and the service phone number for after hours, you dial into that, and what happens is it hits a phone tree, right? And I'm on that phone tree, and I've had that happen, and I think I know which one you're speaking of. All of a sudden it was about 2-ish, 3 in the morning, something like that. My phone rang in my house, because my phone's tied to all of my phones. My cell phone is. So the whole house, you know, comes alive when that happens. So I jumped on it right away, asked what their situation was, and then I went ahead and got one of the other guys up, and then they took care of it. And if they weren't going to be able to, they could give me a call back. But say nobody gets that phone call, it immediately then goes into an email that hits all of us as well on the email part of it. So somebody's going to be on that pretty quickly. It's really for, you know, emergency situations where we've got a coach that's down because shore power was plugged in, but the breaker on the pole was tripped and nobody realized they actually didn't have shore power, or something else happened as far as that goes. Then you got to be able to help them out. Or the toilet don't flush or something, you know?
Yes, sir. Well, they really appreciated that. And actually, I think some of their really close friends bought, I believe, a 2020 or 22 Liberty Coach at the Prevost Plus show. Okay. And I think they're in about an 07 right now, but they were dreaming about some of the newer ones with the Dean Laux paint jobs. So taking care of your customers like that, it's great, because then you know, those owners out there are talking, and the word gets around real quickly when you do take care of owners.
It does when you don't, too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you've been doing this longer than anybody else in the industry, so you've got some stories, I'm sure.
When you hiccup, it does come around, it seems like a lot quicker.
Yes, sir. And I've got to commend you for responding to comments. Someone said you address a lot of the comments out there, and someone said that they had maybe seen you at a show, and who knows what's going on in your life, in your world. I mean, you're at 26 shows a year, and someone felt like you should have given them more time, and you've got a lot of stuff going on. So I can appreciate we all have good and bad days, but you actually respond to those folks in the comment.
Yeah, they said it was 30 years ago at a show in California, and I'm thinking back on that, and 30 years ago we were actually tied to Buddy Gregg Motorhomes at that time. So realistically, I couldn't sell anybody anything. I was there to represent our product, and I could show the product and help, you know, enhance, you know, the sales guys as far as that goes, but I really couldn't sell anything particularly then, because of the fact of our relationship we had with Buddy Gregg at the time. But yes, so should I have been more attentive to it? It's very possible. I could have something else going on at the same time, but you know, try and be up on it all the time. Sometimes it's difficult.
Oh, you've got a family-owned business. You've got a lot on your plate, but also you've got some great salespeople as well. Yep. So if you don't have time, there's always someone folks can get a hold of.
Yep,
so
for sure. Over here, this has got the super slides to it, which we've seen quite often. So these slides are extra long. Look at how tall we can crawl up underneath. Walk up underneath here if we have to. They're all radiused, so you're not clunking and splitting your head open when you walk into them. How Dean finishes the whole paint all the way along. Wraps it around the front and back as well to keep the scheme going. Even when we open up the windows, you'll see the scheme running through the framework of the windows. Dean was there for our presentation, which you helped me out on, which I appreciate, there at the Prevost Plus, and he went into a little bit of what they do. 1,200 hours on a paint job, maybe similar to this, 1,700 hours on an artist series. It gets quite expensive by the time you all get done. But again, when you look at this and you feel it, this is all finished. Right? It's just not painting here and being done with it. I mean, the whole thing is finished all the way around.
Yeah, and I think if you open up other, product out there and really, compare this part of the coach, that's where you got to really look at it. The little seams, when you compare those to a Liberty coach, that's when you're going to see those little differences.
And then on top of that, okay, fine, we don't feel the paint line here, which you see every day, but you also don't feel it here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a lot of work in that. This is the driver's side of the holding tank. Stainless steel fresh water tank. Once again, we polished this side of it. We put a polished stainless steel panel on the front of the aluminum holding tank. We have the dump here as far as the driver's side. We have the sewer hoses are located here. The water is right here as far as fresh water, a 100-foot hose that is electrically retract. You manually pull it out. And then we have the hand sprayer for washing out sewer hoses. We also have a button here that you can press that'll put fresh water into the holding tank to clean it out. This customer added a hose bib to this side so they could hook water up here so they could wash something down as far as that goes, or wash the windshield if you wanted to. We have a gray water bypass. Our holding tank is one tank. It's combined black and gray water in one tank. I believe, as we've seen, you let the gray water stay in with the black water. When you dump the tank, it cleans the tank out. We have a lot less chance of sewer odors in the coach, which we don't have at all anyway because of the way that our systems are vented. But this is just another backup to that situation. You can bypass the gray water onto the ground or in a storm sewer drain if it's legal where you're located. Hook a garden hose up to it and leave that gray water bypass open. You've got that 160-ish, 70-gallon tank there just for the toilet. So you got quite a bit of capacity there to get you through a few days, especially if you can keep water coming into the coach for fresh water. So it's a lot of options there. Again, on this side is going to be the fuel fill and def, so it's a locking door here. So as I try and point out a lot, your def is right here, your fuel's here. You're not doing fuel here and then having to go somewhere in the back or the front of the coach to put def, get up underneath the compartment. People talk about it and they bring it up on Newell, and I'll be the first one to say that's, it's very much the case. I mean, look at how tall our bays are here. On the Newell product, you're down here. So to get up anywhere, you're having to crawl around inside there, which is not always the easiest thing to do, especially for people when they start to get up there a little bit in age. Even for me, it's not all that easy all the time. This is the fourth bay driver's side. They opted to do the storage tubs in here. This can be a combination of storage tubs, a closet, all closet. I mean, we've done all kinds of stuff in here. Third bay driver's side, this is the generator. We've got the 12.5 kW Onan unit located here inside of our own hush box that we make, and then the Onan has its own hush box as well. So it's a super quiet unit. It's also very vibration free because we mount the unit differently on our own mounting brackets comparatively to what Onan does. We've got the ladder here. Ladder has been a part of our coach and every coach that we've built for, gosh, probably 40 years. So there's always an opportunity that you may have to get up on the roof of the coach, and that ladder will get you there safely. Second bay here on the driver's side, we've got the electrical architecture of the coach. We've got the breaker panels here on this aluminum polish panel here. This is the breakers for the feed to the individual Moritz Octoplex DC boxes that are in the coach. So those boxes house electronically programmed circuit breakers that can be programmed from 1 amp to 30 amp. Okay, we've been utilizing that since our 2007 model year. So we're almost 20 years into that system. In fact, we really are, from when we first started playing with it to when we implemented across the board. There's only 6 fuses that are in this coach. They're on that fuse bank right there. So this makes the coach a heck of a lot easier to troubleshoot. You're not having to pull wiring diagrams out or circuit sheets. They're right on the flat panel. It's going to tell you right away what the problem is, and it's easy to diagnose from there. The Volta system, we've got their readout on their flex system right here. So you can tell whether or not you're hooked to shore power. You can see the state of charge. And also something we haven't talked about in quite a few videos now is the ability to shut the coach down. So this is very unique and only unique to a Liberty coach. So if you have the coach in a situation where it's going to have to sit for any length of time, and I'm talking maybe multiple weeks or months because of something that's happened, or you're just going to walk away from it and you don't have, shore power, one button press on that silver button on that panel right there will shut this coach totally down. So now if we're at 100% state of charge, you can come back to this coach in 6 months and you're going to be able to turn this coach back on again. And when that happens, everything comes back on a clean reboot. So all of the items that are in the coach, your satellite receivers if you have them, your Starlink system, cellular-based systems, all of the sensitive electronics are going to be coming up on a clean reboot because they've got full power. Not when you have minimal power and they're sitting there, doing like a flashlight battery does when it's dead, right? And that's when you start hurting equipment. So that is very unique to our coach. So you can do that anytime you need to. The transfer box here, the silver box, is going to be from our generator, shore power, and inverter transfer mechanisms. So all of that logic is done in there with the switch watchdog and also with the generator watchdog. So those items also allow us to have significant information and notifications to come back to us. When we go inside, we'll talk about the Crestron system, but this system here on the CAN network that it's on allows notifications to be pushed out to us as well as the customer. So we can tell if the coach is getting ready to shut down. We can tell if it doesn't have shore power. We can tell all kinds of things. Plus it keeps a never-ending log. So we can go back into the log and say, well, you said you had plugged it in, but there was really no power there. Okay, so we can tell, through those types of notifications what's going on. Driver's side of the first bay, we have the rollout on this side. We don't have any storage drawers here, so you've got quite a bit of storage here as far as height. You've got the amplifiers and speaker splits for the dash radio, the Pioneer unit. Coming around the front of the coach, we've got the front Prevost junction panel here. So their electrical setup is here. We have the washer fluid. We've got storage up in here if you want to as well. We also have air outlet. There's an air chuck there that comes from the auxiliary Prevost system as well as our air compressor as well. Behind the front bumper is our auxiliary air compressor. We have that set to come on at around 60 PSI and shuts down at 90 PSI. And so there's storage behind that front bumper also. We come around the front of the coach. The 9660 has got more of a radius to the front of it. There was a significant amount of work that my brother Kurt did on the design, which was the rear cap and the front cap, which is the awning interfaces. These caps had to be engineered and done to fit perfectly on top of the coach. Also in the back, the rear cap had to have the chimney built into it for the exhaust. So you can go onto the roof of other coaches that are out there and that's just a facade and you can see the chimney, whereas our chimney is built into our rear cap. Plus it had to enhance the fuel economy that Prevost was looking to achieve as well. Those caps had to not interfere with that, but also enhanced it. So we have also this front end treatment here, which is all done by Liberty Coach. So this grill unit, the stainless pieces, the Liberty Coach illuminated logo in here as well. So this was all part of what Kurt designed for the 9660 and also the entire cockpit. The front here, this is what's called the frunk. So this can open up so that you can get to the windshield wiper motors, as well get to the dash AC and heating system for being able to change the filters or clean the filters for that, which in the classic models was done through the stairwell, which made your options of designing that staircase challenging because you had to deal with that, where we do not have to deal with that now. This coach has the e-mirrors on it as well. All of the coaches that Liberty Coach has done on the 9660s, except for 2 units, have the e-mirrors mounted to them. They come standardly with this mirror. The e-mirror is an option, approximately $12,000. The front bumper, like I said, this tilts down. It's in 3 pieces now. One section to come down, but it's in 3 pieces, so if you happen to damage one part of it, you don't have to replace the whole bumper cover, which was a nice feature to that. As we can see here, when you've opened up the door, all these parts and pieces in here are parts that Kurt did the design work for. So this entire cockpit, including the door and the driver's section, is 19 different parts, 19 different molds. Each one of them has to be upholstered. All the sewing is done by us as well. One thing that we don't point out enough is our door boot. We've been putting the door boot on for almost every coach we've ever built. That's complicated to do to make sure that the door then can close properly, as well as cover and open up nicely. And then see, the transition here is all the same. It's all at the same level. And so again, this is something when you open up the door, most all the other coaches that you're going to see, you're going to see all the nastiness that's behind there, right? It's not made to be pretty, but we cover it up so it does look good. This has the floating staircase that we debuted on Coach 915. So these stairs look like they're floating. They're underlit as well. Some people like the storage in the first step here. With this new design, unfortunately, that becomes more difficult to do because you don't have enough height in the storage. But all that stainless steel work that's in there, that does not come from Prevost that way. That is something that we have to make and that we do.
Yeah, and it's just an incredible look. I mean, we even have indirect lighting on the door here. And then, as you mentioned, the way that flows, you have more indirect lighting flowing into the coach. And one thing I don't mention enough, because I'm playing with all different types of motorhomes, but when we come here to Liberty Coach, something as simple as turning the lights on is so simple and so easy and well thought out. I know I can go into any Liberty Coach, hit Lighting Master, Accent Master. We want to get the lights right before we make these videos, and sometimes in different coaches, I'm going through touch panels and it's a little bit more tricky to find the lighting master. But I mean, whether it's a 10, 20-year-old Liberty Coach or brand new Liberty Coach, very uniform, very easy to use.
You can go back into coaches that were much older than that, because before we had the Crestron, which digital switching brought us to that point, we used to have just regular toggle switches over here on this side right here, and a simple solenoid that would do it. I mean, you know, I was asked to do that many years ago by the different dealerships that we were selling coaches to, because like it or not, salespeople walk out the door, don't think nothing, lock the door, lights are on, next day you want to show the coach and it's dead, right? So now it's kind of hard to show a coach like that. So they said, you know, is there a way we could walk out and have a master switch to be able to turn that off? I said, yep, we can make that work, no problem.
Well, I think as a motorhome user as well, just coming back to your coach, just knowing you could press that one button, that makes life a lot easier.
And we have a nightlight program too, because some people were talking about, okay, if we did that, can we leave certain lights on? So we have the nightlight program. We also, which we never talk about, when you look at the lighting panel on the Crestron, on the iPads, through Crestron, we have 5 different mood settings. So you can turn around and go through the coach and select any kind of light that you want, as long as it's on the DC side. Press that mood button, hold it for 5 seconds, and it sets that up. So you can come over here and hit the lighting master, kill everything, hit that mood button, and it's going to bring those back up again. Or if you hit the mood button, it's going to kill everything other than what you had it set for. So we have different moods set up for that as well.
Yeah, very cool. Now, is that in with Josh AI yet?
No, that's just already built into the system. Okay. Now with Josh AI can take care of that as well.
So can you tell Josh AI, you know, put it on, you know, romance mood or something like that?
I'll have to ask my son about that.
You could fire up a little Marvin Gaye and turn the lights down.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
Sir. Now, flowing into the coach here, these seats are just over the top. We've seen a few coaches with this newer style stitching. Was that a recent change?
Yeah, we did, because we were having difficulty getting the covers done properly, and so we went ahead and are doing it on our own now. So we're buying the frames for the seats, and then we're making the covers ourselves. We are able to control the quality, we're able to control our production. Build times much better, instead of getting down to the wire and still waiting for something and then shipping companies mess up or whatever, or they get lost. We've had that. So now we have control of that. So when you see that stitching, and you pointed it out before, all the perforated panels, the way that they're done, you're not seeing a stitch go through a perforated hole. It's all done and engineered properly.
And I can imagine, you know, how much goes into something like that. You're essentially having an in-house upholstery shop to support Liberty Coach rather than outsourcing it. It'd be much easier just to write a check, let someone else deal with all those headaches, but your family is overseeing every little detail that goes into this.
Unfortunately, those headaches don't go away when you write that check, because when it comes in the door, now you got another headache because it doesn't look the way you wanted it to. So on the upholstery side, one of these days we'll do a video up at the shop up north, and you'll see our upholstery shop that we've had since we built that place in 1984. So there's a significant side of the upholstery section, because all the stuff that you see inside this coach, other than the couch, is done by us. So all the ceiling panels, all the wall panels, all the parts that go around the arches, everything is all done in-house.
When you're putting a lifetime workmanship warranty on it, I can appreciate wanting to have that control over the quality.
Sure.
Yeah, when we were standing up front there, I was getting a little sneak preview of the interior. It looks like you guys continue to raise the bar with this one.
Yep, we did. We'll have to go look at it. I haven't had a lot of time to spend with this one because I've been in and out, so some of this stuff might be a little bit new for me.
I think the folks are going to like this one. This coach has an incredible bright feel in it.
Does.
And this is the more updated ceiling design as well.
Yeah, everybody's typically been going with this new contemporary paneled LED ceiling that Kurt and Kim came up with, which we did in Coach 915 that debuted at the 100th anniversary Prevost event in September of 24. So the people that have had the opportunity to do so as they're building a coach are opting for this as well, which also has enhanced the air conditioning delivery for the supply side. We talked about the color of the lighting, not only the actual color, but the temperature of the lighting on the LED strips has to be proper as well. Otherwise you lose your complete effect of what your interior is going to look at. So there's a lot that goes into that. So that's really worked out well, both in the front and in the back. The 9660, of course, has the total flat roof. So when we turn around and look the other way, you can see how the living room looks like it's extended all the way to the front cockpit. That transition didn't have to happen any longer where we dropped down like the Classics did. So that changed that as well. Here we have the cockpit of the 9660. Again, I mentioned before, Kurt did the design on this, my brother, that incorporated 19 different parts here, which means we have 19 different molds going on here. One thing we like to point out is our big handrail that we have here, grab bar that's built into this driver's cabinet. As you go out the door, there's another one you probably saw when we did the entry. This whole setup here was done, took about 2 years in the making. We have the e-mirror displays that are here. I mentioned the blind spot detection system. Those indicators are right below the e-mirror displays. This has the Garmin unit built into it. So you've got a Garmin display here as well for navigation. We have a large 10.5-inch monitor here, which is the Pioneer display. We have the clamshell charging device for your phone, so you can set your Android or your iPhone in here. That's magnetic charge, so you can AirPlay and CarPlay from here to the Pioneer unit, so you can do your navigation off of that. You can stream your music. We also have a very nice hands-free phone system as well now, which doesn't sound like you're inside of a bubble when you're talking to somebody, nor do you have to yell at it. We have the dash AC system now, has air coming right to the driver's head and lower, as opposed to the Classic, which just was down below. The iPad Pro, the 12-inch that's here, you've got all of your functionality plus what's called a driving page, so you can bring up the 360 camera system. You can operate some of the more common features that you need while going down the road, like sliding the air floor that covers the stepwell. You can do that from here, lock the doors, turn the map lights on, set the generator. You can monitor what's going on with the battery system going down the road here as well. The leveling system is a valid unit. Prevost did to put the valid unit in here. So we've got that built into the coach. And also now with the 9660, it has 2 leveling valves in the front, one in the left front, one in the right front. And then, of course, you've always had the left rear and right rear. What that does now is it gives you more flexibility in the ability to level the coach. We have the sunshades, which you can bring down. Those are brought down from the dash switches here. And then we have the blackout units, which we have down here as well. One thing that's come up a lot in the comments has to do with the split windshield, as opposed to a large single-piece windshield. The large single-piece windshield on something this big would be an enormous feat. The weight of it going into the gasket would be extremely heavy. The other thing that is very difficult to think about for a lot of people is how are you going to blacken out or cover that single windshield? You have no ability for any shade to have any way of structure to keep it away from being out here. I mean, you don't want the shade here, you want it up against the glass. So to be able to do that with the curvature of what's here, it's almost an impossible feat to be able to do that. The other thing is, think about shipping a window like that across country, or think about how many times you get a chip or a stone. I mean, it's almost like we can't move a coach cross country without getting a chip in it. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So that it would be an enormous expense as well to do that. We've had design meetings about it, and it has just worked out so much better just to keep this double windshield here for a number of factors. The other part of doing this windshield setup the way that it is, it's the same setup that Prevost has in their passenger buses and their tour buses. So they have these units stocked all over the country. So you can get a windshield pretty much wherever you're at in a pretty short period of time, as opposed in the Class A world where you've got this one-piece windshield, and where is it stocked at? How long is it going to take to get one if, God forbid, you have a turkey fly up and hit the windshield, which has happened. You know, I've seen it happen. So you've got a lot of factors here to think about. And does the one-piece windshield look good? Yeah, it looks great. But how do we service it? How do we design the interior componentry to go with it? Again, if you had the monitors here, where are you going to mount that monitor if you don't have a center pillar? This way here, you've got complete forward view of what's going on and everything you're looking at. You don't even have to move your head to see what's going on here. The other part of it is too, when you look at that comparatively on a windshield on the Prevost side to what's out there in the Class A world, the Class A world, that windshield is going to be probably 4 to 5 times as expensive. And also, who are you going to find to put it in? That's a challenge, to put that windshield in properly so it doesn't leak, because if it's not done right, it settles and then the top of it begins to leak. Happens a lot.
You don't want a whistling noise when you're going down the road.
Exactly right. On this particular coach, on this layout, this has the extended galley. So the galley's a little longer here because we've gone to one chair, which is still an option, but a lot of people are moving that direction, as opposed to having the 2 chairs here where you're basically swapping chairs back and forth to make them look like they're wearing the same, because typically a lot of people don't utilize that chair. It becomes more of a catch-all. So we've made a cabinet here. This is pretty nice to be able to, you know, set your laptop on it, or a work area as far as that goes. We have the ability to put a printer down here in the bottom also. We have storage there, and we've got storage over on this other side here as well. This chair is electric as far as its recline, and the footrest that comes out is electric also. The couch over here is a jackknife couch, so they hit the switch there and the couch will come down to make into a bed. There's storage underneath the couch as well on either side. This coach has the optional soft closed doors and drawers. So this has the trash drawer in it. You can see the dovetail drawer boxes, which is something that's been a trademark of Liberty Coach for well over 30 years. We have the cutlery drawer that's down in here as well. It goes around the sink drain. This has the waterfall countertop to it, so this has the full mitered section that's here. It's just not a panel that's added to the end of the cabinet, which is a lot less expensive to do. This is a full mitered section here. And then we have the drip edge that's on the countertop. The drip edge we started doing in actually the mid-80s.
Wow.
When Kurt and I went and looked at and we invested in a computer-controlled router, which at that time was a 4x8 table, we were then able to design and engineer and cut a drip edge into the countertops at that time. So we've had that ability to do that for what, 40 years now? Okay, it's a long time. And then of course we've had new machines since that period of time as well, but that's given us a lot of ability to do some really cool stuff. Like for an example, cut in here for the sink cover. So the sink cover is going to look very similar to how this stovetop cover is too. It's perfect as far as that goes. The Miele microwave convection oven, this is a 220 volt unit. So the 220 volt unit can be utilized on inverter power, so you don't have to run the generator on this coach to do that. Since coach 883, the inverter units were upgraded to 5,000 watt inverters on the lithium-ion Voltapack. So now we have the ability to run 220 volt equipment, and of course this is coach 929, so we've had it for quite a long time. We can also run the dryer as well going down the road, so you don't have to run the generator to do that either. So the 220 volt equipment we have on the coach can be utilized with that. So a lot of people are feeling that they don't even need to use the generators any longer. So we have the cabinets up here, all lighted. This, as you can see back in here, was where the paper towel storage is. So paper towels go up underneath here, so you don't have the paper towels cluttering the countertop. Again, soft closed doors. This dinette setup here is built everything by Liberty Coach. The booth setup, everything is built by us. This table goes in and out, and it also swivels. So we make this whole setup here. So this setup is very solid. It's very sturdy. Go into the other coaches that are out there that have a setup like this, and you're going to see them doing this going down the road. This is not going to do that.
Yeah, I like what they did with the two-tone with more of a cloth upholstered back.
And you've got storage underneath here as well. Nice deep storage here. And then you can see how the floor is done to match the table. If you look at the design of it, the shape of this is going to be the same shape as on the floor. So this is an all aluminum cage that we weld up and then weld to the floor that Prevost has for the slide room. So that's all engineered and built by us to do that instead of it just being a square box, right?
Yes, sir. And this is a triple slide coach, and we still have plenty of room here in the salon with only the one slide room here. How many triple slides a year do you build?
Well, we build 12 coaches total a year. 1 to 2 of them will be a double, and then we'll do a quad, and the remaining balance will be a triple. So the triple slide by far is the most popular that we find. You know, because it's like my wife Denise, she doesn't ride in the front passenger seat all the time driving down the road. She'll be back here. Well, if she's back here, she can't really see what's going on because she's looking through another slide up here in the front, right? Depending on how you use the coach is really what it comes down to. Does the quad fit your lifestyle? Depending on how you use the coach. Does a double fit your lifestyle? Again, depending on how you use the coach. So we have people that do both. The double slide, of course, is going to have the over-the-road bus air conditioning, which is 10 ton of air conditioning running off the main engine on a separate compressor, and then 150,000 BTU of heat. So you aren't running any of the roof airs going down the road on a double slide coach with bus air. And it's going to make you cold. Front to rear is the same, okay? Can't do the bus air on triples and quads because the slide rooms interrupt the ducting system of it, because it comes up along the passenger side wall, windowsill, and in the floor. And across over the top here we bring it. So there's a significant amount of difference in those coaches as far as that goes. But again, it depends on your lifestyle, it depends on how you're using the coach.
Is there a price difference in between a double, triple, and a quad?
Yeah, so a double and a triple are almost the same price because you are eliminating the bus air, you are adding another slide to it. But as far as the difference on the interior part, it essentially costs the same to build the interior. So they're virtually the same. When you go from a triple or a double to a quad, there's a significant leap. There's a lot of money in the shell part of it because of the additional slide, and significant dollars in the interior part of it as well because of how the wiring has to change, componentry has to move around. There's a lot different that has to happen there with this other slide because we have to make sure that we're plumbing. All the plumbing has to run through the conduit, the flexible conduit as well, so there's a lot to be said for that.
In a double slide, the bus air is about as expensive of an option as a third slide room.
Almost.
And when Liberty builds a double slide, those are always built with bus air?
Yes, unless it's special order without, but we've done probably 2 doubles without bus air in our history, but that's been quite a long time ago.
Wow.
Something that people ask, and I see it sometimes in the comments, that you're still using Crestron. You know, Crestron, I brought them into our industry in 2003, became a Crestron programmer. My son is a Crestron programmer. We have other people that work with us that are as well. Crestron is not old technology. They continue to evolve that product as well. We have significant modules that are built into this system and are continually updated all the time. We build our own graphics package here. So anything that you see in here is something that we've built. I mean, if you want to turn a light on, you can just hit the symbol for the light and the light's going to come back on. If you want to do individual lighting, you can do it here as well. We also have all your shade controls. All of your air conditioning controls are here, plus the feedback from the air conditioning. SPAR heating system. You have that here as far as the floor heat. All the zones for the floor heat are here also. You have all of your circuit breakers for the 110 and 220 volt equipment are located here as well. So you can also see what's going on. Is the shore power connected? As I've mentioned before, too often we have people that will plug the coach in, but they really don't know if they have power. There's a way to look at that down in the bay, just to wait for the system to switch over. You can also see it here on the iPad. You have the feedback. When the generator's running, when the generator's set to auto start, if the inverters are performing. You have the ability on the inverter systems here to change their charge rate on the charger mode. So when you're in areas that don't have a lot of power, or it's marginal even on 50 amp, especially when it's very hot outside and you're trying to run all the air conditioning and maybe you're not running all of the lighting in the coach, you can cut back on the charge rates of these chargers so that you're not using as much shore power for that purpose, okay? Because people want to run the hairdryer, want to run the washer dryer, want to run everything at one time. It's not a nuclear power plant. So you sometimes have to meter things back depending on the availability of the power coming to you, okay? Not that the coach can't handle it, it's just the fact of what's coming at you. So then we have our water systems here. We can check on all of that. We have the auxiliary pressure, so we can see what the auxiliary coach pressure is as well as what's on our auxiliary system when the engine's not running. So we can see what that is doing here. This is very helpful when you're trying to see to make sure that your slide seals are still inflated. Because if this is at 0, you have no inflation on your slide seals, period. Okay? So exterior cameras, we can see the bird's eye view camera system here. We have all kinds of different settings. And then we get to what I was mentioning before as far as your notifications. So notifications, we can set up all these different notifications here that then text or an email to the end user and to us. So this is all very well thought out. It's very intuitive. If you want to run, say, the Apple TV, this coach has no direct TV system on it, so you're going to be streaming all the time on this coach with Apple TV product. And we can switch between the bedroom, the entertainment center, and passenger monitor, turn it all off one button here. So you're not having to fumble through it all to see where we're all at. Plus the buttons are big and they're well defined as far as their lettering, because most are getting older and we can't see as well, so it's a lot easier to do all that also. So anyway, plus we can make changes on the fly. So if there's a situation where a customer would like to see something a little bit different on there, we can make those changes on the fly and remotely shoot the program in. So there's a lot of flexibility that we have here, as opposed to the other systems that are out there that are extinct now. Savant, gone. You know, there's all kinds of them that are out there that are just gone. And then those coaches then have no help. They have to be completely 100% rebuilt, which can get you up into that $100,000 range without a blink of an eye. So it's a lot to be thought of.
And you mentioned that you can program different notifications. I'm just curious, we talked about obviously if the shore power isn't, giving you clean power, but what are some of the other reasons that Liberty Coach owners would want to have a notification sent to them?
Well, let's just say, for an example, you have the shore loss protection set. So shore loss protection is a program that I wrote many years ago where when you lost shore power, the generator would fire immediately. So if you had animals in the coach, you wanted to make sure the coach was maintained temperature-wise, that would take care of that. When the shore power came back, it would then shut the generator off right away. Well, let's just say, for an example, you have that set and you forgot. And now the coach is in a building and all of a sudden the generator starts. You get a notification that the generator's starting because you definitely don't want that generator running in an enclosed building, or this white interior is going to be a lot different color, okay? Seen it happen. They can get a notification if shore power has dropped off. Okay, shore power was lost. They get a notification about that. Get a notification if the batteries are getting low and the coach is getting ready to turn off. Not go dead, but just turn off. You'll have that notification. They could then start the generator themselves if they wanted to when that system's happening, because we will make that call. If we can't get a hold of them, we can GPS track the coach and see if it is outside somewhere. And if we can't get a hold of the customer, then we'll go ahead and fire that generator. If we make sure that everything is safe around it, we can go ahead and do that. Or call the customer if we can get a hold of them to say, hey, listen, this is happening. Because it could be we've had situations happen where coaches have been at a tire shop somewhere, God knows where, middle of Montana, Nevada, whatever, and all of a sudden we're getting notified that the coach is getting ready to turn off. Well, the customer's at a hotel because they didn't get done with the coach over that day, so it's being done the next day. All of a sudden somebody bumped the cord and unplugged it, so now the coach is starting to go down. Now you're going to lose your refrigerator and everything else, right? So these are things that we have the ability to help our customers out with.
Coming back to this coach, what else is going on?
People want to see how much drawer storage and how much storage is in the coach. So we've got a lot going on here for storage. This can also be changed here to a dishwasher if people want it. We have had people ask more and more about dishwashers. Typically people that are coming out of Class A's. But for the people that have had a coach of ours or have been in this world, the next time around, that dishwasher gets eliminated. Because 9 times out of 10, when we take that coach in on trade, that dishwasher don't work, because it hasn't been used. It's been storing chips, plates, and everything else, and it doesn't work. So we have to go through and service it. Pantry here, large pantry, nice pull-out boxes in there as well. Refrigerator, the Fisher-Paykel unit, which has got the refrigerator pantry doors on top, and the freezer drawer here. And then we also have the ice maker here. And again, we pointed out the clear ice cubes.
Yeah, I just noticed that when you open that up, those were super clear ice cubes. What's the whole story with that?
Well, it has to do with the reverse osmosis system. So we've got like bottled water quality, if not better, coming into that ice maker. So that's why it has the clear cubes.
Do you ever do the ice makers that have the different style ice cubes at all?
We've had some that we've done in the bays that are more of the half moon shape. Those are very fast. So those will make ice very rapidly. These are slower. Most people know that in household refrigerator units, the ice makers are very slow. The ones that we've done outside are very quick units as far as that goes. Going into the bathroom, this is a bath and a half unit. So this is the mid bathroom, or what we call the ETR room, the enclosed toilet room. So this has the Jack and Jill doors to it. Nice solid doors. Have the washer dryer as you're coming through here as well. The Bosch unit stacked. And of course, this is the back side of the the rear entry as far as the toilet room. So you've got the really cool tile work, the vanity setup as far as the countertop there is nice and big, and then the forward wall there is all an upholstered wall. So now we have the super suite that we've walked into here. The bed is centered on the slide room. These slides are 6 inches deeper. They have been 6 inches deeper since the 2020 model units when Prevost did the electric fans. This was an engineering change, so the slide rooms are deeper, so you have more room here when the slides are open. We've got the super slide on the passenger side as well, so we've got big closets here on both ends. And we have the Dyson stick vacuum built in as well, and mirrors on both sides, so the ladies can see, front and back with that. Nice large TV mounted here. The windows can be opened with the Crestron control. We also have the egress here, so one thing we've pointed out a couple times, that headboard pops right off, so you can get out that window if you need to. That's something a lot of people don't think about, so that's something I would ask when you're looking at other Prevost conversions out there, is that window covered? Can you get out there? You've got closet here and on the forward side as well. And then you've got big deep drawers that are down here also. On both sides, again, soft close hardware, and those closets are deep enough that you could actually do shoe shelves back there if you wanted to as well. We have a king size bed. Our mattresses are made by City Mattress Group down here in Florida. The people have been loving these so much they're putting them in their homes. You've seen them. They come to our dealership here for our open house rally, which we have our open house rally coming up here at the end of February. It starts on the 25th of February through the 28th, and we're maxed out. We've got a waiting list as we have usually, so we're really excited about that. This bed then underneath here, the safe is located underneath here. It's a nice big safe. You can put almost like a 15-inch laptop in there. It's quite large.
That's almost like a hidden compartment. The way this is upholstered, if you didn't see these little tiny hinges right here, that would look like it's just part of the face of the bed. Very clever.
Well, and we got to point this out again too, is the hinges on these doors.
Yes, sir.
This again is utilizing the concealed hinges here, which are a lot more expensive and more difficult for the installation process as well, as opposed to just doing the piano hinges on there, which we used to do quite often.
As we were going through the coach, all of the drawers are lined with either woven vinyl or in the closets, it's a very high-end carpet as well. That's in every drawer, every cabinet.
Yep. It keeps the maintenance as far as the drawer being cleaner. Now you look at the pantry and you look at the bottom of the vanity cabinets. For an example, the bottom of this vanity cabinet here, it's going to be a gray rubberized material, and that's because typically some things will spill down there, and that becomes a lot easier to maintain and clean with that material as opposed to a carpet or opposed to some sort of a fabric. So we come in here to the bathroom, the aft bath. We got the big shower here, big tall area, very large, very big. A nice tower here for all the equipment to go on. This is actually an oversized caddy area they wanted for larger soap dispensers, shampoo dispensers, so this has been larger here. You've got the strip lighting in here as well. The vent that's in the shower itself, that's something that's important. There's a lot of companies out there that do not do that. It may be located somewhere else. Ours is located right inside here. It does have a rain sensor on it, which you can bypass, so you can let this open when it's raining as well. The shower pan, we make those in-house. They're a full stainless steel welded pan, and what happens then is cement, and then we have the tile that goes down. The rock wall is on the walls here, so there's no way that water can penetrate into that and get out and get into a moldy situation, which we discuss and talk about often in older coaches or XYZ coaches, not Liberty coaches. That happens. They wanted to have the towel bar here on the door as well, so that's an option here to have the glass drilled and put the towel bar here. We've got the electrical closet back here for all the audio video equipment, as far as the digital matrix switching system, the Crestron processor, and what have you. And in this closet here, we're going to have your data systems as far as if you have Starlink, which you have the cellular systems as well for data that are back here as well. So the rear vanity area, you've got a lot of storage in here. You got storage underneath, you have storage in the drawers on either side here, storage on this side. You got quite a bit of storage back here on either side and on either side of the mirrors too. This is a new feature that we started on Coach 915 also, was this recessed niche area back here on the rear vanity to give more room for towels and other things that you might have back here.
Frank, I greatly appreciate you showing us around the latest and greatest here. Now, are you going to have any display coach or upcoming events or places where folks can come see one of these in person?
Yeah, we're going to be doing an event here really shortly at St. Lucie West. We've got a golf tournament we're doing there. Ron is out at MCC at Indio, California as we speak. He's got a 2015 quad slide out there. We then have coming up our Liberty Coach Stewart Open House, which is our 25th annual open house event here. So we've got that going on, which is the 25th of February to the 28th. In March, we get into some other stuff that we do at resorts, but we also have the Palm Beach Boat Show, which I think starts on the 25th of March. We'll be on display there. We've got an end of season event that we're going to be doing at River Landings, which I think is the second week of April. You know, we're everywhere. And then we get into the summer.
Yes, sir, and I know a lot of coaches sold at the Prevost Plus rally. But what's your current pre-owned inventory? And
I have no inventory, Andrew.
Really?
And the Motorhome Exchange, which is the motorhomeexchange.com, which Dave Wall runs that company, you can go on their website, look at their current inventory. I think they've got 6 or 7 units on that we have here, and we're at the same location. And then we have 4 or 5 Liberty coaches. So the difference between the Motorhome Exchange and Liberty Coach is that anything that goes into the Motorhome Exchange is going to be outside of 10 years of Liberty Coach production, is also going to be a coach that is a non-Liberty product that we have either taken in on trade or that we've acquired. So those are going to be in the Motorhome Exchange. And then on our side, like I say, I think we've got 4 or 5 units, and we've got some incoming trades that are becoming as well, but we also have some of those sold already. So we got some pretty exciting stuff that's coming in on what we sold from the Prevost Plus as well.
Yes, sir. And then to custom order a brand new Liberty, what's the current lead time?
Right now, if you're going to order a brand new coach from us, you're going to take delivery probably February or March of 2027 right now is where we're at. So we're not doing too bad on that part of it, because we've got a good 10-month lead time on there. You got paint time, you got interior time. So I've ordered double slide shells. I've got some triples coming. I got a quad coming as well. Those will be completed in that 2027 calendar year. If you're interested in getting a coach, as far as that goes, please go on the website. You can email coachsales@libertycoach.com. You can also email off the site, and anything that you see that comes to me goes through our CRM, and I go ahead and push that to the different sales guys out there. Service, please email serviceoffice@libertycoach.com if it's service related or parts related, because there's a number of us that get that because we cannot always catch the phone. We just can't. So just do that, and we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible.
And then also, we appreciate all the comments you guys are leaving. Frank does respond to some of them from time to time. I know you're extremely busy, but I think whenever you got a free moment, you kind of scroll through those.
Yeah, I do. You know, I've gone back to the driving video we did back in November. I think that's up to like 840 or 860 comments. You know, so I scroll through that probably once a week just to see what's happening there, and I'll answer all the questions. The most popular question has been about the damn check engine light. The check engine light came on. We decided to go with the production instead of halting it, because at the end of the day, it ended up being the heated system for the e-mirrors, which was not going to have any dramatic effect to us driving the coach at all. So might as well just go with it. So
yeah, that was a really cool video. If you haven't had a chance to see that, we'll leave that in the description below. And I think people were wondering why Robert De Niro was driving a motorhome. So yeah, there was some pretty funny comments.
Shula.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there was some good comments in there. Yeah. Well, Frank, I know you're extremely busy, sir. We greatly appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Yep. Also appreciate all of you guys liking, sharing, and following, and hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.
Thank you.